Imagine someone who has an idea for an invention. You knew them before anything worked. You saw the struggle, you saw the rejection for years, where nothing seemed to work or move forward with that invention or with them. Now, life goes on, and years later, you run into them again. They don't look rich, they don't look flashy, they look normal. Clothes are average, nothing signals success. So then, you assume they still where they used to be. You assume that they still trying and still behind the curb. That's what you assume. You judge them quietly, you joke about them to your friends. And then when they ask you out, not once, but several times, you laugh it off and make light of it. They're the laughing stock of the conversation between you and your friends. Now, at the same time, you keep entertaining associates who appear impressive on the outside. They flashy, loud, and look expensive. But every lunch, you're the one covering the bill. Every hangout, you're the one giving more than you receive. They look like success, but they draining your peace and your pockets. Then one day, after numerous breakups and heartaches, you're sitting sobbing, turn the TV on, and you see that old friend. They successful, established, and clearly valuable. Now, all of a sudden you want to reconnect. Now you remember their name. Now you want access to them. But here's the truth. They know why you're reaching out now. It's not because you valued them when you were unknown. It's because you finally recognize their worth. Only because you've seen it. Only because you've seen it. Now this is what Peter is addressing in First Peter chapter 4, verse 19. He explains that suffering reshapes a person. It doesn't do it quietly and it doesn't do it gently. Suffering strips away old desires. It separates you from the crowd. It exposes who values appearance versus what has been formed through obedience. Now, when you suffer for righteousness, people, they won't understand you. They won't understand it at all. They'll mock you, may pull away from you, label you strange, extreme, holier than thou, dramatic, you think you perfect, and so on and so on. Peter says not to be surprised because they can't discern what God is producing in you. Come on now, somebody. This is the same way people couldn't recognize the value in someone who didn't look successful yet. Suffering isn't punishment. It's not. It's refinement. It is refinement. God uses it to remove the parts of you that crave approval so that you can live for his will instead of human applause. Come on now, y'all. Come on. Now, when Peter says that judgment begins at the house of God, he's saying that God doesn't begin by correcting the world. He begins by purifying his people. His people, y'all. So, if you misunderstood, rejected for standing upright, or losing relationships because of obedience, that doesn't mean you are failing. It does not. It means you're being entrusted with something weighty. Woo! Something weighty. Suffering for Christ isn't shameful. It carries honor. Says it in the scripture. There's also a part people avoid talking about, but Peter doesn't avoid it. There will be crying on the day of judgment. These won't be quiet tears or polite regrets. They'll be desperate pleading for another chance. And there will be no opportunity given. Hence that's why it's called Judgment Day. Judgment is final. The decision is sealed and time has expired. There will be no more revisiting the moments and no reopening what has been closed. All the doors that were open for you that you did not go through. People will remember every warning they dismissed, every conviction they silenced, and every moment when obedience felt too costly and comfort felt easier. It's sad. Now consider the contrast. Eternity with God is everlasting life. There will be no sickness, no sorrow, no grief, no pain carried forward. There will be no funerals, no hospital rooms, no tears left to be wiped away. Everything would be made whole. I even get some edges up there. Or who else ain't got no edges? Y'all will get those. Scripture describes streets paved with gold, not because gold is impressive, but because what humanity worshipped on earth becomes ordinary in heaven. Come on now, y'all. So the question needs to be asked plainly: why suffer on earth for sin? Why disobey God for a moment? Why chase pleasure that fades, only to face eternity separation from Him? Eternity, y'all. Why choose temporary ease if it results in permanent loss? Why? This is why Peter ends the chapter the way he does. He doesn't close with fear, he closes with direction. It's time to change course. He says, wherefore them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to Him in doing well, as unto a faithful Creator. That's Peter chapter 4, verse 19. What Peter is saying is this: when suffering comes according to God's will, you don't abandon obedience to escape pain. You place your soul in God's hand and continue doing what is right. Now, we all have fallen short of His glory now. Come on now. But when you know better, you do better. I say this all the time. The same God who permits the suffering is the same God who preserves your soul through it. So if you're going to suffer anyway, and you will, suffer for doing right. Suffer with intention. Suffer with eternity in view. Do that. The suffering that comes from obedience is temporary. It's temporary, but the reward of faithfulness is forever. Once eternity begins, there's no second chances to choose God. There's only the evidence of whether you already did. Come on now, y'all. Fakes without work is dead. What God is building in secret will always outlast what only looks impressive on the outside.